So here we are, we're coming towards the end of 2024, a tumultuous year in the steel industry in the UK, and nowhere more so than here in Port Talbot. Today we've come down to the steel plant where at the end of September operations ceased. So iron and steel making ceased at the site, and the last tap was made here in the converters behind me, and the last cast from blast furnace made iron was made just across the road in the casters. So we've come down to see what's happened since the operation ceased, to understand a bit more about that decommissioning process and deconstruction, and hopefully to hear a bit more about what's actually going to replace the assets where we're standing. So listen, joined by Chapman. Nia, thanks very much for coming out with us today. It's eerily quiet here. It's unbelievable how different it is. Tell us, September the 30th was the last day. I'm guessing there's been a lot of work going on since then. Talk us through what you've been doing here.
So we've started the decommission phase, which has involved a lot of removal of out kits, making safe the units, and obviously with a lot of big lifts going on at the moment. So if you look down there, you can see that it's quite empty at the moment. So we've had the 2 fume hood removals for hot metal bay, and then we've had the fume hoods for the iron desulp have also been removed, and the slew arms.
Yeah, and there's still quite a bit of kit here. I mean, it looks very different to what it used to be, obviously, and you've had to lift a lot of the material out, and presumably that will go and get recycled. But there's still quite a bit here. The desulf pits are still here. The pits for the hot metal ladles are still there. Tell us what's going to happen in the coming months.
So eventually, we've started a lot of work down south end, but we are going to come back here and then eventually get the walls down, and all the cleaning is going to progress then. We just need to start the bigger bits at the moment. As you can see down the bottom, we've got the fume hoods. We're going to have the hydraulic cutter come in and cut them up, and then we're going to take them down south end, and then we're going to recycle them, put them back into the process, or sell them off. Yeah.
And of course behind us we've got the converters. I don't know if Gareth, you capture this on the camera. We've got 2 steel converters here. They've become redundant. I think work's already started with those. How's that been going?
Yeah, really good. We've had a lot of contractors working on there, so they've taken the skirt and they've taken the hood out. We have got the shell still in there at the moment, but that's the next progress, the next phase, once we've done all the removals down the south end.
We did say about, this is a transition to a new way of operating the electric arc furnace, and also joined by section leader Scott Walker. Scott, if I could just bring you in. This bay is going to be cleared, it's going to be empty as we look ahead of us here where the desulf and hot metal stations was, but what's going to be there in the future?
So the plan for the desulf, we're removing the desulf. This is going to be the electric arc furnace repair bay. We'll be repairing the shells, doing the refractory relining of the EAF. Further down the bay, where we currently see the hot metal bay, we're going to be filling the pits in, and that's going to be our ladle maintenance bay. So the refractories will be maintained currently in the RED bay. They'll be staying there. They'll be coming through there for mechanical repairs at the north end.
Yeah, because it's still quite early for people to get their heads around this new operation with an electric arc furnace. But of course, electric arc furnace will melt the scrap, but it's got to tap it into something, and it's going to tap it into those ladles, and they'll still need to be maintained. So that's what's going to happen down there.
Yeah, that's correct. So the ladle fleet we currently got is staying.
Yeah, because it's a big old bay there, isn't it? But they're big old ladles, to be fair. And of course, just behind us, where we're standing, in fact, is called the stage in front of the converter vessels. Now, you were telling me earlier, this is going, isn't it?
Yeah, we plan to remove the stage so that the charger crane can access the empty ladles to feed into the EAF onto the tapping car.
Yeah, and we'll take a wander down in a minute, because at the very far end of this bay is where the electric arc furnace is going, and the ladles that will be receiving the molten steel are at floor level, so a long way down from here, and they'll be coming along here. I'll tell you what, let's go and quickly have a look down that end of the bay, and hopefully we can explain to people what's going to go in there and how it's going to work with the ladles coming across with the transfer cars. Is that okay?
Great. Yeah, thank you.
Great. So Scott, we've come across the stage now, and we're looking, I'm not sure what direction it is, but we're looking straight towards the part of the shed where the electric arc furnace is going to be. Tell us a bit what this will look like in the future.
Yeah, so we're looking south. This is the south end. It's currently the scrap bay. This will be transformed into the EAF bay. So we're going to have the con steel conveyor feeding scrap into the EAF, which is going to be in the centre of this bay. Yeah. We'll have the materials handling outside, which will feed into the EAF. And the EAF repair bay then, currently where the desulf is sitting.
Yeah, and when the electric arc furnace is working, is going to be tapping into teaming ladles. They're going to be coming straight towards us and then through to secondary steelmaking. Is that right?
Yeah, so the tapping car is going to be running north to south.
Yeah.
The charger crane will be taking the full ladles off the tapping car onto the existing car's car and into the teaming bay.
And then the empty ones come back.
Empty ones will be coming from the teaming bay through to the charging bay, where the stage will be removed, and then the charger crane will be lifting the empties then onto the tapping car.
Yeah, so and I'm right in saying that in the future it's just one charging crane, so we're going to keep the north charger crane. The south charger crane is going to be decommissioned and dismantled, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And then the north charger crane is going to be busy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be very busy.
'Cause you were saying earlier that we're going to have to upgrade the north charger crane as well.
Yeah, so the north charger crane is going to be upgraded to around 580 tonne, which will need to lift that weight with the empty shell with the refractories in place.
Yeah, I wonder if you can talk to us a bit about that, because again, a lot of people kind of got their heads around an electric arc furnace is kind of a saucepan with these electrodes going in and, you know, massive piece of kit. They may not have got to the place where they understand that there's a spare shell. Can you explain a bit how that works?
Yeah, so every 2 weeks, the EAF shell will be removed, basically as we do in a reline on the vessel. The shell will be removed, placed on the north end, where the new shell will be fully bricked, ready to go.
Wow. So it's not like 2 electric arc furnaces so much, but that's every 2 weeks. That feels like a piece of work.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of work to do, yeah.
Yeah. So this place looks like it's going to be busy. I think I do want to take you to one last place if I could, because you talked about the ladle coming through here and going through secondary steelmaking. There's a piece of work going on at secondary steelmaking which isn't just about decommissioning, because it's preparing for some new kit. Can you guide us through to secondary steelmaking and maybe talk us through what's going on there as well, Scott?
Yeah, let's go and have a look.
Okay, Scott, so we've come around to secondary steelmaking just across the bay. There's a lot of pieces of kit up and down this bay. Tell us which bits of kit are going, which bits of kit are staying, and then we've got some new stuff coming in as well, haven't we?
Yeah, so it's a bit different to secondary steelmaking, where we're actually got decommissioning and mothball.
Yeah.
So the CAS one is being decommissioned, which is just underneath us here. You've got the RH degasser, which is also being decommissioned and dismantled. We've got the RD degasser, which is being mothballed, as well as CAS 2, which is being mothballed. And then new to secondary steelmaking, we'll have 2 LF furnaces, which are going down south of the bay, and them cars, like the AF, will be running north to south.
Yeah, okay, and it's quite difficult to understand the layout for people watching this film, so sympathies with you. But these ones that are being mothballed, there's a piece of work to improve them before they come back online, though, isn't there?
Yeah, so we've got a project called Back on Spec. So we've created a brochure of everything we need upgraded and where we need some investment to get it back to spec, ready for when we start the plant back up.
And the ladle metallurgy furnaces, hopefully people have heard as part of the investment, that is to improve the quality of the final steel product that's leaving the plant. They're going to be right down there next to the electric arc furnace, yeah?
So they're going to be on the south end of the teaming bay, which is where we need to decommission and dismantle the RH to make room for the new LF furnaces.
Yeah, and where we're standing, the steel that comes out of the electric arc furnace kind of goes under the floor here, comes out here, and then goes to one of those secondary steel making processes.
Yes, that's correct, yeah.
Listen, Scott, thanks very much for bringing us down here and showing us round. I know we're going to go and talk to the casters and maybe make a separate interview about the work going on at the casters, but thanks very much, and thanks, Nia, for bringing us down and talking about all the decommissioning work that's going on, and talking about that, importantly, that transition from an existing steel operation to a new steel operation. There's a hell of a lot of work to go on here. You've got, I guess, 3 years to make it happen. It's going to be some transformation, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a mountain of work to do, but we'll get there, we'll make it work.
Yeah, listen, thanks again for bringing us down, and let us know when things are changing. We'll come back down and see how it's going.
Thank you.
Cheers, thanks, Scott.